Okay, so now we're going to talk about what you're going to do with surgery instruments if you're assisting in pre or post. We kind of bounce around on this. The first bucket is a water solution with a little bit of soap. What we want to do with instruments in here is we want to kind of clean the area that looks like it could get dirty, whatever instrument it is, and we also want to clean the area where this opens and closes, okay? We're not spending a ton of time, but we're just getting it clean. We don't want any blood in it, okay? And we would do all those instruments, and then we would go into the second bucket. The second bucket is strictly a water solution. This is a rinse bucket, so we're rinsing the soap off the instruments. When we're done rinsing, and rinsing only takes a second, then we're going to move over to the ultrasonic scaler. Now what this device does is it vibrates the instruments really fast to get off any micro dirt that we left behind. Now the only thing is when you're doing instruments, you do not want them to be locked. A locked instrument, so you can hear it, makes that snapping noise. It's locked. When it's locked, nothing can get inside here. So if you're trying to clean an instrument, it makes absolutely no sense to close the part that you want to clean. So it needs to stay open, and it should be open the entire time. No one should be locking our instruments. You're going to place it just into the ultrasonic cleaner, and then we're going to put the lid on it. And obviously this is demonstration purpose. You would put more than one instrument in, or you're going to spend a lot of time with this. You're going to turn this to 15 seconds. And then go do something else. When the 15 seconds is up, it'll turn itself off. You'll come back. This can pull out so that you can get your instrument out. You're going to take your instrument out. Now we want to rinse it again. So we're going to go back to this second bucket. We're going to rinse it, okay? And then we're going to go into the third bucket. Third bucket is beautiful. This is milk. This is instrument lubricant. This will keep our instruments from rusting, so this is good stuff. The instruments do not need to stay in here for any length of time. If you're busy, you can dump them in and pull them out later. But if you're really busy, just put them in and take them out, okay? And then they're going to go over to be wrapped. So now we're going to walk over to the wrapping area and take a look at that. All right. When we're in the wrapping area, we do tend to lay out the instruments to dry. The instruments can actually be wrapped while they're still wet because we put that milk on them so they will not rust in their stainless steel. But if we have time, we do like to let them sit out to dry. Now there is a picture on the wall in front of this area. That picture has a little bit of a representation as far as, well, what is in a pack? And every pack does not look exactly like this pack, but it gives you a basic guideline. And basically what a pack is made up of 8 instruments, okay? 4 are the same and 4 are very different. The 4 that are the same are called the hemostats. Now you'll also notice that our instruments have color bands on them. We like to keep the blues together and the pinks together. It makes them happy. So we want to pick up 4 hemostats that look the same that have blue on them, okay? So that's 4. Now one thing you might notice, and this pack is a good example, I have a curved hemostat and I have a straight hemostat. They're still hemostats and they still belong together because they have the blue band on them. Then what we want to do is we want to find the 4 other instruments. The 4 other instruments, there is a thumb forceps or a tweezer, again the blue band. There is a spay hook, the blue band. There is a pair of scissors, and scissors can look different. This is a big pair of scissors. This is a little pair of scissors. These are still both scissors. So don't expect them to look exactly the same every time. And then we have our friend the needle holder. And the needle holder you can tell because it's got this area that looks like it wants to hold something, and then it's got this area that's actually scissor. And we use this to hold the needle and push it through the skin to use. So that's the needle holder. So these are the 4 unique instruments. So I found the instruments in the pack. The only other instrument that I need is I need my needles. My needles are sitting on a rack right here. So this is a needle rack, so I need one of those also. So now we'll come over to wrapping. I'm going to move these out of the way. My outer wraps we do reuse. If you have one that looks dirty or you just don't like it, throw it in the laundry. I'm okay with washing it. If it looks relatively clean, I give it a shake. make sure there's nothing on it, and then I lay it down. Now, when I lay it down, I'm laying it down in such a way that the corners are at the edge, so it's kind of like a diamond in front of me. I'm going to start off by putting a blue piece of paper down just to catch any blood, and we can cut these as we need them. Then this is a cat spay pack. In a cat spay pack, I typically put two gauze squares on there. Sometimes you'll find that these already have gauze square on there. If the gauze square looks clean, there's no blood on it, use it again. It's going to be autoclaved. It'll be sterile. If it looks gross, if it has a drop of blood on it, throw it away and get fresh ones. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to put my my needle pack down right in the center. Then I'm going to grab the rest of my instruments. Now, I find everyone will organize these instruments a little bit different. I like to put my needle holder up at the top of the pack. Then I'll usually put my scissors down at the bottom, and then the rest of my instruments I kind of just throw on. And a lot of times I try to have some of the handles here, some of the handles there. That way the pack will be smaller when it's wrapped. Then I want to get one of my drapes, which we'll teach you how to fold later, but one of the drapes to put in there. Okay, so that's my pack. I've got everything in it. I'm going to reach forward. I'm going to grab the edge of my drape furthest away from me, and I'm going to pull it towards me. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little flap. Okay, so I brought it back a little bit. This will make that little flap that'll make it easy when you're opening these packs later to pull it open. So we pull this end towards us. Give myself a little bit of a flap there to grab when I'm unwrapping. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come towards the side, and I'm going to bring this back over, okay? Trying not to stick my hand in there. You'll notice I put some tension on that. That's how you get a small pack, and that's how you get it to stay closed. Then I'm going to, again, make that little flap. Then I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to pull it the other way, and I'm going to make that little flap. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, just like folding a Christmas package, bring this end back towards it, and tuck everything underneath. And you'll probably find as you work here that some people fold these in a little bit different way than I do, and that's all okay. All I care about is that the pack seems relatively tight. If I drop it, it stays closed, okay? If you drop your pack like that and it explodes open and instruments spill out, you need to figure out how can I make this a little bit tighter. The other thing that we can do to try to make this better is we're going to use autoclave tape on this. And the autoclave tape, what this does is when it goes through the autoclave, it will turn black. You can see these little clear lines. Those will actually turn black. In fact, Liz, can you grab me a pack that's already autoclaved? So we're going to get a pack in just a second so that we can take a look at that. So we're going to take the tape off. We're going to put it over the edge here, okay? Break it off. Then we're going to take a pen and, thank you, we're going to put our initial on it. And you put your initials on it so that if there's a problem with the pack and someone keeps making a mistake, not so that we can blame anyone, but so we can say, hey, you know what, you never do this. This is what you can do to be better. So now this is ready to go. If this were a neuter pack or a dog pack, I would also write dog or neuter. A cat spay pack, we use a lot of these. We tend not to label them as such because we assume if it's not labeled, that's what it is. And I just got a pack here that's been through the autoclave, and you can pretty easily see that's a pack that's been through the autoclave and has been steam sterilized. When you're unwrapping packs for me at the surgery table, you should always look at this tape, and it should always have this line. You would never want to give me a pack that looks like this. This is an unsterilized pack, and it should not be used until after it looks like this one. Let's talk a little bit about wrapping neuter packs. That's something else that you may be called upon to do. A neuter pack is just a bunch of hemostats that I use to do the cat neuters. And when you look over here, if you want to pan over here, you can see all these instruments. Again, we've got the banded instruments. Here's the red and black pack. But then you look over here and you say, hey, these guys don't have any bands on them. They don't have any colors on them. That's because these instruments are the neuter pack. This one is not, obviously, this does not look like a hemostat, so this is just going to go aside. But all of these other ones are hemostats. So we'll talk about how to wrap these. What we're going to do with these is we're going to put about a dozen, about 12 of them into a pack together. And what we'll want to do is we'll want to stagger them. So what we do is, again, we have our outer wrap. We make sure there's no hair or whatever on it. We make sure there's no blood. If it looks fairly clean, we're going to use it. We're going to put it like a diamond again. I'm going to put a paper towel down. I am going to put one gauze square down. I'm going to then put my hemostat down, okay? When I put my hemostat down, I don't necessarily have to have it wide open, although if you like to do it wide open, knock yourself out. I usually have them like this. Again, you don't want to do it like that. You don't want them completely closed when they go through. They've got to be partially opened. Then what I do is I take another piece of paper towel, I put a paper towel down, I put another gauze square down, and I put another hemostat down. A little trick that you'll notice I did is I face this one this way, this one that way. The pack will actually close nicer if I stagger it in that fashion. So then I'm going to put another one, and another one. And I'm going to keep piling this up until I get about 12, or until all my hemostats are gone, and then I'll wrap it. We'll pretend that there's 12 here. So I'm going to reach away from me, pull that in, make a flap. I'm going to come over to the side, bring it in, make a flap. Other side, bring it in, make a flap. Then I'm going to come at the end here, bring it in, fold this down. It's a little hard when it's a really tiny pack like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my autoclave tape, I'm going to tape this, I'm going to put my initial on it, KT, I'm going to write neuter on it. That's important so that we know that this is a neuter pack and not a cat spay pack, and then that's ready for the autoclave.